I want to talk about one individual in particular, and that is Cato the Younger, who was a Roman senator who led the survivors through the desert. In ancient Rome, a senator actually had a very high social and political standing in a society where they belonged. While leading the survivors, Cato could ride a horse, but he chose not to. He wanted to walk alongside everyone else. He would sleep on the floor, just like the soldiers. He would drink the same water as everyone around him. He could have the nicer things, having a much higher standing than everybody else there, and technically being their savior in that moment. He chose not to. He chose to march on with everybody else. The whole point of this march was to get away from Julius Caesar. And he knew he was technically walking towards his own end, as well as all the people around him. But he walked anyway. He kept marching on. So regardless of the outcome, he took it step by step and marched on. The entire thing, if I remember correctly, was around 30 days, which is a long time to keep marching in those kind of conditions. Now, let's look at modern life for a moment, because I tend to find that a lot of people tend to pause or just completely abandon something at the slightest inconvenience or uncertainty that they face. Cato marched through a desert not knowing if he was going to make it. In a modern world, people just decide not to go somewhere or not to do something just because they're not quite sure how they're going to get there. In a modern world, we've got options, and people still choose not to take a step forward. So I wanted to ask you this. If I told you right now that whatever it is that you're building, or whatever it is that you're working on right now, this very moment, and for absolutely certain it's going to work 100%, but you had to keep going for another 8 years, would you do it? I just want to ask yourself that and sit there with it for a moment. To help make a start on something like this, tonight, before you go to sleep, even if it's before midnight, I don't really care when, I just want you to do it. I want you to put your thoughts onto paper, onto the notes app, onto your phone. Write down one thing you're going to religiously stick to for the next month. That's it, just 1 month, and see if you can actually keep up. Because if you can, that means every single morning you're going to wake up knowing you've kept a promise to yourself, which is probably something that you haven't been doing beforehand. In order to make that easier, in Stoicism, I believe there are 2 main ways to help yourself when trying to stick with certain goals or targets. First, change the thing that you're measuring, because right now, you're probably thinking about the output majority of the time. The output being how many followers you have, what kind of revenue are you making, recognition and views online. Essentially, all the things you can probably just screenshot and show off to other people. On a day-to-day basis, output is actually out of our control because we never quite know what's going to happen, because the market may move and all your investments or your entire business could genuinely go under. A guy that's 3 or 4 years younger than you could announce their own very startup and make 100 grand overnight. If your sense of winning or progress in life purely depends on output, there's a very high chance that you're going to be very miserable for the rest of your days if that's the only thing you're going to measure yourself on, regardless of whether you're enjoying the work or not. If you measure only by the output, eventually that work is not going to be enjoyable anymore. So to change that, let's flip it and let's focus on what we can control, which is our inputs. Have I done the thing that I told myself that I was going to do? Have I stuck to my diet this week? Have I followed my training plan? Did I read 10 pages a night? Did I put away £100 this month? Those are the things you can control, because those are the things you do. If you don't do them, well then that's on you. But if you can, and you do, those are the things you should measure yourself on, because that's what determines successful input. It's essentially just saying, have I done it? Yes or no. That is a real win right there. You know, to stick to your word over and over again. When Cato was in the desert, he had no idea how close his goal was. He just knew he had to keep moving in a direction, and eventually he would reach Utica. When that was, who knows? But he knew he just had to put one foot in front of the other in order to get there. And it's exactly the same with this. The second thing is to refuse the shortcut, the easy way out, the simple way out. This is something that a lot of people, especially young men who have access to so much technology and so much stuff out there, tend to skip. because they'll think, oh, I'll just do it this way and it'll be done for me, or it'll be done quicker. Do it the harder way. Do it the inconvenient way. Learn the trade, learn it inside and out. Instead of letting an AI write something out for you, you write it yourself and then allow the AI to spell check you or grammar check you. If you're creating something, do it yourself and then use other things to create tweaks or make little changes. But do the process. It's also the same with training. If you put in the work, you will get better, faster, stronger, whatever it may be that your goal is. If you skimp out on training, nothing's going to change because, well, you're not actually doing the training. So if you just pay someone else to do things for you, or you allow other programs to do things for you, nothing's going to change in that remit either. During the march in the desert, Cato could have chosen to ride a horse. Nobody would have said no to him. Once again, he was a high-ranking official and an individual with a little bit of power to his name. So nobody would have batted an eyelid, but he chose not to. He chose to walk with other people, because sometimes you have to remind yourself where you actually come from. And sometimes simply doing the difficult things is all you need to put you back into reality and teach you to appreciate the things you have right now. Because whenever we take the easy way out, we tend to betray ourselves a little. We betray ourselves on the fact that we can no longer learn that certain thing properly. We may not experience something properly. We have to give ourselves those moments. We deserve those moments. And that's the only way we're going to be able to get better and continue to grow. You're not going to build your empire in a day. Those things take time. They take patience, a lot of effort, and a lot of mistakes. And the only way that entire process works is if you do the work and then do it properly. Because if I've learned something that I can share with you right now as a quick thing, is that there are two types of people in this world. And there are people who are watchers and there are people who are doers. And after years, there's only one type of person that has a different life. Get to build on your empire. Take it steady and enjoy the process. If you made it this far into the video, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. I'd also appreciate if you left a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to hear more stuff like this, I'm going to leave another video on the screen right here for you to check out. And hopefully I'll see you there. And if I don't, I hope you have a wonderful day. And maybe I'll see you again sometime. Bye-bye now.